Welcome to the second challenge in the CrabNebula Broken Navigator Capture the Flag Security Initiative. If you're missing context about this, well, we'd recommend watching the intro video. You can find a link to that in the description, along with other solutions as well. For now, we're going to focus on challenge number 2. But before we do that, let's do a little sentence about why we're even doing this challenge in the first place. Security is baked into the very DNA of CrabNebula. As official Tauri partners, we audit every single Tauri release, and we also offer security audits to software companies in a consulting fashion and then fix those issues that we identify. All of this is available at crabnebula.dev. But for now, let's solve challenge number 2. It's worth noting here that there will be spoilers. We're going to give away the answer. So if you haven't yet solved this and you're curious and you want to, do not watch this yet. Pause the video, solve it, and then come back and exchange notes. For now, let's get into the solution. You've been forewarned. To start with, you'll want to clone, if you haven't already, crabnebula-dev/broken navigator. From there, you'll be able to navigate, pun intended, to the instructions in the README and follow them. So I've followed all of them, including here, cd challenges/navigator/1. We're at challenge 2, so we'll go there. In fact, we are there. If I check the present working directory, we are in Broken Navigator Challenges space Navigator 2. From there, we'll npm run tauri dev, and we'll start the Rust application, or the Tauri application. So this is it, and let's read the description. After logging into the navigation console with the password, we could not find any coordinates already loaded. We need the correct coordinates to go back to Earth. Can you find them somewhere in the system? Once you have obtained it, we can enter them into the destination of our trip. We got the interesting part of the configuration file of the Navigator menu application. Okay, so this is the Tauri configuration, similar to challenge number 1. If you missed that solution, that video is also in the description. A link to it is. Okay, let's go back here. So this is the Tauri configuration. It says the navigation API seems to have custom functions outside of the documented Tauri API. It seems like we already know where the coordinates are, but cannot access them. There seems some functionality hidden in some elements to access them via the front end. We heard that there is some shortcut to open the developer tools. Maybe it is documented somewhere, or you already know it. Interesting. Okay, so we need coordinates. These coordinates are not available in the scopes and the Tauri APIs that are allowed. Instead, these coordinates are hidden somewhere in the DOM, and we need to inspect the developer tools. Now, I'm a front-end developer. I know that developer tools is accessed via Command Option I on a Mac, or you right-click and choose Inspect Element. So the answer seems to be hidden somewhere in the DOM, but let's look at this Tauri config a little bit. So if we look at the Tauri config, the allow list is exactly what it sounds like. It's a list of Tauri APIs that are allowed by Tauri. So everything in here has permission, allow or deny. And then when you try and use them in Tauri, it will, check against this. Like, are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to read from the file system? Are you not, etc. So in this case, I am allowed to read from the file system. I'm allowed to read a directory. I'm allowed to read resource navigation star star and resource navigation coordinates stuff. Like, I'm allowed to read these. I'm allowed not everything, and I'm not allowed all in shell, but just to open stuff. Okay, cool. We need coordinates. Turns out they're not found here. So let's go to the challenge. We need the correct coordinates for Earth. They should be somewhere in here. Can you find them? So navigation slash something. The coordinates will show up here when loaded. Let's try and load this via the front end. And let's maybe be a bit naive and go navigation slash coordinates.flag. But hang on a second. This file is denied. So we're allowed to read everything in navigation except coordinates.flag, which has the coordinates. So if we do this, path not allowed. Okay, that the path is not allowed. Let's see if coordinates.flag is allowed. It's not, right? Because it's denied. Okay, so the password, the coordinates, the answer, the flag is somewhere in the DOM. Let's inspect element and see what we get. So let's go back here and let's go full screen. Inspect element, and now we have some DOM. Let's dive into this. Let me bump the font size a little bit. So we'll go main, article, P. Okay, that's fine. Somewhere in here we should have, oh, there we go. What's this? This is the form. And then, okay, load via front end. Everything looks totally fine. There's some shadow DOM going on here. Indeed, that's fine. What's this? Form ID, hidden form. Interesting. Okay. Button, hidden, hidden. What if we remove that attribute? We have a new button, load via Rust. Oh, I found the coordinates. Interesting. And so now I have them in this file, and we go to the solution and we paste it. Is it? Oh, cool, it worked. Okay, so I kind of get what's going on here. Let's talk about what's happening. So Tauri allows you to do certain things via the front end, or denies you certain privileges also via the front end. Like, for example, you can read the file system, and in our case here, you can't load coordinates via the front end because, well, it's forbidden. This file is literally denied here by Tauri. So you can still somehow load them via Rust. That's what it said here, right? If you go to challenge, load via Rust. And this is interesting. What this teaches us is that you can do anything you want from Rust, anything you want, even if it's not forbidden or allowed via the Tauri APIs in Rust. Rust works in your operating system and can read from and write to anything. And so you can easily read from the file system despite the Tauri configuration and maybe leak stuff. This is where it's best to lean on the Tauri configuration and use only Tauri APIs, because if you're using something, you have to allow it explicitly. If you're not using something, then it's not going to be allowed. Versus with Rust, it's sort of free game. Another interesting thing here is if there's an API that you're using in Rust, it's accessible in the front end. And so that's another possible security leak. Very, very interesting stuff. I hope your solution was the same, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to leave comments in our Discord, on social media, or others. And we can't wait to see your solution, and we hope you win the prize. Thank you for watching. Happy fixing.